December 25th, 2007, the Bronx, New York, Christmas Day. Surge of ritual activity by supremacist, misogynistic, highly shielded, organized predators.
A threat may be going through here as well, and there's a couple that went by that also seem to be carrying them, and let's get a closer look at the license plate real quick. It's a North Carolina plate.
North Carolina through Fort Bragg is the primary hotspot for U.S.-based psychological operations group's initial training. Misappropriation of these resources for highly shielded human enslavement and human trafficking is why there is such an epidemic on military bases, academic campuses, cult compounds, and so forth, including private households of participants, of gang rapes and murders, free-for-alls by these highly shielded organized predators. If we are ever again to have a world worth living in, this urgently needs to be addressed and stopped, no longer covered up. Their rampant use of rape and other sexual assaults and abuses of people from as young as they can get their hands on for brainwashing and programming and intimidation, facilitated by the covert administration of drugs. This is a well-documented tactic of theirs, but they're supposed to have stopped. I think even apologies have been issued. Oh, it would never happen again. They are clearly doing it now, and they would sooner poison me until I am dead than admit that they've been doing this and make it stop. This is why I have been compelled to spend over a decade now, well over a decade, full-time with overtime, showing that this is in fact happening because I keep meeting members of their brotherhood, sometimes their sisterhood, trying to make me out as paranoid. Clearly, my evidence shows otherwise. New York has signed into effect the Enough is Enough initiative to combat the finally recognized epidemic of sexual assaults in certain environments, particularly the college campus. They will never get that tide turned until they address the fact that highly shielded, military intelligence connected brotherhood and sometimes facilitated by sisterhood members are in fact being assigned and shielded to carry out these sexual assaults rampantly as their method of achieving a tabula rasa, an erased slate, driving the people that they target out of ourselves, so that they can then have that erased slate, zombified state, to make the person as they wish. That's the idea. Clearly, it doesn't always work the way they intend, but they can't have a free-for-all to keep trying. Already, as in the linked December 2014 paper that was submitted to the United States Senate Judiciary Committee, who's supposed to be checking into, since then, December 2014, the connected epidemic of sexual assaults on college campuses. A highly shielded Luciferian military intelligence connected through his father, psychology major, apparently a member of these psychological operations groups, with people that were engaged in organized stalking against scholars who were targeted for coercive recruitment, including me. That's how I ended up knowing about it. Was someone who was highly shielded and assigned, and that law enforcement off campus refused to investigate. Someone who became known and documented, including by the campus police chief, who had years of experience in off-campus law enforcement beforehand, to have engaged in sexual assaults against minors when he himself was already an adult into his 20s. This absolutely needs to be addressed and stopped. Instead, I, and probably the others similarly targeted, have been prevented from ever being able to pursue any quality of life, personally, professionally, or avocationally, because these organized predators have been allowed to have a free-for-all to keep testing neurological weapons on me. The specialty, overtly through the United States Navy and more covertly through DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, of the father by the same name of the serial rapist assigned on campus at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, is pulsed signals buried in noise. And lo and behold, ever since, I have been targeted with exactly pulse signals buried in noise, being both signals that affect people through what they see and signals that affect people through what they hear, and very possibly on other levels as well that I am not yet familiar with. This has been an extreme example, extreme largely in terms of the duration, because that was in the 1990s, in the early 1990s. In fact, starting the fall of 1989 was when, from day one of orientation, that highly shielded assigned serial rapist zeroed in on me. I see now with hindsight assigned, he knew in advance that he was supposed to work on me even by the start of that day one of orientation before classes began. They have demonstrated a severe, prolonged example of what has been often referred to as the green light that goes out to organized predators to bully their human trafficking targets into submission.
My calls and my other communications, such as emails, apparently have been getting interfered with, routed, and my filing to the FBI on July 28th, 2017, so that basically law enforcement has been playing dead. And so that's why I made this trip to Albany, and I need urgent government intervention. My documentation has connections, not with regard to corruption on their part, but overlapping activities that has affected them or has been of concern to them, to 2 U.S. senators and 2 U.S. congresspeople, 1 alive in each category and 1 deceased already in each category. As well, members of the people believed to be my relatives have been affected, including a beautiful great aunt who died suspiciously under very similar circumstances to Dr. Frank Olson. Please help. There was a contract on my life during the time frame of this set of recordings. It was 2006 to 2008, and inclusive there was a contract. I don't know how soon before 2006 it started and how soon after 2008 it appears to have been canceled. All I know is that the organized predators referred to Dr. Five, that was the person that had ordered the contract to murder me. And I guess they were being careful in case they were being overheard and recorded. And as it turns out, I was overhearing and recording. So please help. Thank you. God bless you.
This is to review when in 2007 the organized predatory network was planning to abduct me at gunpoint with someone from Guyana.
I didn't want to go with me, but we connected. So, sorry? Check, second meeting. Oh, okay, no, one of the people that didn't see it. Yeah, be back. Second meeting. Yeah, that's the last one. I'll look for it in the other stuff. Okay.
2007, the highly organized, internationally networked predators were referencing competing factions, that their faction was intent on winning me and that they did not think the other factions were going to succeed in doing that. One might wonder, since the immediately preceding file was of this faction planning to abduct me at gunpoint, what they mean by, quote, winning. From context, given all that I have learned over these many years, they are referring to successfully gaining neuropsychiatric control
over my mind. That would include with the use of drugs and hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, radio frequencies, several other things. On the Project MK Ultra page, even on Wikipedia, which these people have managed to water down quite a lot, it has quite an extensive list of methodologies to gain coercive control over people's mental states. They say, but it's not just mental states of your thinking, you being their target if you're their target. And they don't do this for its own sake. They do this for their human enslavement and trafficking purposes. In January 2008, a pair of men pretended to be from FedEx. They were actually wearing jackets that said FedEx, though I received confirmation from genuine FedEx employees that they were not representing FedEx. They were attempting to trick me into opening the door of my residence at the time in the Bronx, New York. In one of the organized predators' meetings, their audio engineering consultant referenced people from multiple countries, including the Director of National Defense. To this day, I am not sure if he was referring to the Director of National Defense of Canada or the Director of National Defense and Homeland Security of the United States of America.
Thank you for your ongoing watchfulness and supportiveness. I know it is because of you that I have not, in fact, been disappeared, either with or without color of authority, either through the, quote, criminal justice system or the, quote, mental health system, as efforts have been made to disappear me through both systems and any which way, and sadly, including with the severe facilitation of the psychological operations coordinator that is believed but not known to be my mother, Dr. Lockman. As she says, she claims it's a Jewish last name. It really is short for Lachman Singh, her paternal grandfather having been the key Guyanese official during arrangements for Jonestown, which also needs to be investigated in these regards. Thank you and God bless you.